This next dish is a delicious way to keep costs down and family favourite flavours up. My creamy cauliflower cheese spaghetti uses my super simple white sauce to totally reinvent the classic. Served with a gorgeous garlic crumb topping, this dish is a delicious 70 pence per portion. This is coming in well under budget, and I've literally taken my favourite veg dish and turned it into the most gorgeous pasta sauce. And the heart of this sauce comes from here, the freezer. A friend, a very good friend right now. So I'm using frozen cauliflower. Great price. It's already prepped for you. So get your cauliflower into a bowl, and then I'm going to grab a leek here, which I've washed. I'm going to take the end off, the green dark part, and then this lovely white part I'm just going to put in with the cauliflower. That's going to go in the microwave for 10 minutes, okay? So that is going to semi-cook. While that's doing its thing, I want to show you a really nice little cheat to creating possibly one of the most delicious sprinkles ever. Think garlic bread, but in sprinkle form. Right, interested? Yeah, I thought so. So, this is fresh bread. It could be stale. To make breadcrumbs without turning on a food processor, just get your knife, slice it up like this, one way, and then turn it, and then simply do it the other way until you've got breadcrumbs the size and consistency that you want. Okay, so we're gonna use that on top of our silky sauce with our pasta, and that crunch and that garlic is gonna be so delicious. So look, the first thing that we're gonna do is add a little garlic. So in we go. That'll start to fry in no time at all. I've got this little lonely piece of leek here. Just open it out like this, and that will fry really crispy and be the most amazing little thing to have with our crispy garlic breadcrumbs. Put in the green part of the leek, and then we're going to put in the breadcrumbs. I've got some mixed nuts here, 20 grams, all of those flavours that will enhance that little sprinkle. The nuts go in, and they'll go golden and delicious. We're going to season this with some salt and pepper. Imagine that, garlic, oil, crispy leeks. There we go. So, there is my partially cooked leeks and cauliflower. So this lovely sprinkle is going to go on here. Next part of the story, we're going to have just a little olive oil in the pan again, 1 clove of garlic, slice it up, put that in the oil. Pan's already hot. So as the garlic starts to take on a little bit of colour, I'm going to use just a nice pinch of dried thyme. Dried herbs are a fantastic thing to invest in. When they're dried, they seem to be more robust, more savoury, more substantial in flavour. Little touch of salt. With the leeks, I'm just going to slice these up just a little bit. Can you see how soft they are now? And in we go, look at that. So I want to do a humble white sauce, and I've got 400 mils of semi-skim milk. So I'm going to put most of it in here, and then we'll start just poaching. And about 100 mils of this, I'm just going to put in a little bowl, and we're going to go in with 1 tablespoon of plain flour. So just mix that little bit of cold milk and the flour together. That'll dissolve nicely. Pour this in, and that will start to thicken straight away. So use a potato masher to make a rustic white sauce. Time to get the pasta on. Get yourself some spaghetti. So what I want is 300 grams of pasta. This is a 500 gram pack. Salt the water, and then we're going to grab the spaghetti with 2 hands. In it goes. I'll put the lid back on just to bring it back to the boil. So pasta's in, crispy bits have cooled down. Go in to our starchy boiling water and just steal a bit. And this will just allow it to smooth out a little bit. So the spaghetti is nearly there. And this I've let down to be a nice consistency. Let's have a little taste. A little touch of salt, a little touch more pepper. And then, of course, I've got 100 grams of cheddar cheese in this recipe. Cheddar is oozy, it's stringy. That's about 90 grams there. I want to get a nice consistency now. You can go chunky, you can go rustic like this, but one thing that I can't help myself is to just use a little hand blender to make it super smooth. So in with the lovely cheese, and then I'm going to angle this pan and just blitz it up. It just sticks to the pasta in the most beautiful way. So blend that up until it gets nice and smooth. And there you go. Okay, sauce done. Pasta should be good. Let's have a little try. Yes. So take that pasta over, and then what we can do is just get in there with the pasta and just move it around. So look at that. Elegant and gorgeous. Let's get this going and just put a nice big pasta platter in the middle of the table. Go in with the crispy bits. Your mates would be so chuffed with this. Go on, get amongst it. Bit more sprinkly bits. And don't forget, we've also got enough cheese just kept to the side, just for a little light grating. Silky sauce around the spaghetti. When you get your fork in there, it kind of just puts wave after wave of those lovely crispy bits. Beautiful. So good. Soft, silky, crunchy, garlicky. Cooked with a bit of love and care and flair. And you get something delicious like that. Joy. Just joy. My creamy cauliflower cheese spaghetti serves four. It's packed full of veg and flavour and comes in at a very tasty 70p per portion. So the recipe I'm going to show you now is a delicious cauliflower cheese mac and cheese. Absolutely scrumptious, and it's all about getting the good stuff in a classic comfort food dish. So of course cauliflower is the king. Got a little heart of celery and 2 leeks. I've got one random bit of fennel, but that's not, you don't have to use it. Me and Jules just want to show you how we're kind of doing nice food and cooking with what we've got, what's available. Let's start off here. I've already taken the liberty to cook my pasta. So the same pan, I'm now going to put on a heat, and I'll start adding these veggies here, and I'll chop that up and we'll start adding to the pans. The butter will go in. I'm going to fry off these lovely veggies. And then the celery can go in, and then the fennel. It is in the supermarket. If you do see it, have a try, it's delicious. So we'll fry that off. Now let's talk about the cauliflower. So cut it in half and cut it into florets like this. Often that's what you see, which means that nearly 1/3 of the actual cauliflower is over here going in the bin. Finely slice these leaves. Let this fry off for about 5 minutes and soften up. And then what we want to do is add the flour that turns it into a thickened sauce. Just use regular plain flour, about 1 heaped tablespoon. We'll mix that in, that will start to suck up all the fat from the butter. And then we're going to slowly add milk. I have only got 1 full bottle of this left and half a bottle. I know for a fact I'd get a rollicking from Jules if I put a whole one of these in here now, because we haven't got much. So I'm going to put half milk, half water. So now I'm putting, the rest that I need. Water. Okay, so let that boil now and simmer and cook it out for about 5 minutes just to soften all the veggies. And then I'm going to season it up now. I'll adjust it later with some nice pepper, a little bit of salt, and then for flavour and colour, a heaped teaspoon of English mustard. Stir that in. So let's just carry on now with the cauliflower here. Just get your cauliflower florets, slice them up into beautiful little chunks. Now it's time to talk about the cheese. This is what we've got in our fridge right now. Because I kind of grab and put things back, I've got odds and ends of Parmesan. I've got a tiny little quarter of cheddar. I've got some halloumi, which I've only quarter used, and a chunk of feta. So I'm just gonna have a little grate up. So the sauce is blipping away beautifully. We now turn it off and the cheese goes in, and I'll put most of it in, apart from a little bit to go on top. So the pasta goes in with the cauliflower here. Frankly, you can use whatever pasta you want. What I have to do now is waz this up. You can use a hand blender, a food processor, or a liquidizer. So Be back in a second. Liquidised it, lovely people. That's what it looks like. So in with the sauce. So look, mix up your lovely sauce. Now, you've probably been wondering what this is. This is starchy cooking water, okay? And this is from the pasta. If it's a bit wetter than you expect, then by the time it's baked, then it's going to absorb into that pasta and it will be just blippy and saucy and gorgeous. I'll just put some cheese on top. What we could do is take a waste product that is one of the most wasted products in the whole of Britain, and that's bread. And every time I've got away from stray, I just pop it in the window, let it go stale. Literally, once it's properly stale, that's what you get. Just get a tea towel. What you can do is give it a good bash. And we're going to create breadcrumbs. In here is just straight breadcrumbs, but here I've got some herbs that I've got in little pots. Thyme here, lovely, oregano or marjoram, and some rosemary. You could put in dried herbs, no trouble at all. I'm going to use some garlic, beautiful. So a little bit of oil goes in, and that just kind of allows the natural flavours to come out of the herbs, and it will make the breadcrumbs really golden. There you go, a beautiful tray bake, mac and cheese, bigging up cauliflower and all those veggies. About an hour before lunch, I'll whack that in the oven at about 180 degrees Celsius, and then I'll cook it for about 50 minutes until it's blipping and crispy and gorgeous. Wow!
Yummy.
Look at that. Okay, should we serve up?
Yes. Yeah.
Go on, buds.
Thank you.
Woohoo! What do you reckon, kids? Took Mum down ages.
So guys, what do you reckon? Cauliflower mac and cheese? Try it. I think you like it. Superb. Right, so I'm going to do a beautiful cannelloni with these fantastic cauliflowers and broccolis and stuff like that. The romanesco, got some thyme, normal everyday cauliflower and the green broccoli. So get rid of this. Now, basically what I want to do is I've already given them a nice wash outside just to rinse away any of our living friends. It really doesn't matter how you do this because I'm just breaking it down essentially because it's all going to get mushed up anyway when I cook it later. And we're just going to put those straight into the water. Cut it up. So put these into your boiling water. So these stalky bits, just boil them really hard for about 6 minutes. So you're cooking them through, and then I'm going to start cooking them in the pan. Get the good old pat down. So just finely slice this garlic. So look, I've got about 7 cloves of garlic here for 6 people. Do you know what I mean? The way I'm going to cook it, you ain't going to feel it. It's going to be reasonably mild. So a nice amount of garlic in there. Good lug of quality oil. I want it on a medium heat. And this garlic can go straight in. Straight away. Thyme. I've washed the thyme. Just pick it off into there. So this is lemon thyme, which is quite nice, but regular thyme's good too. It always spits, especially if you wash it. It's got a fair bit of moisture inside the leaf. I have to be careful. This is when I upset my wife. You need chilli to make this work. Be brave, be bold. 3 hot chilies, and I'm going to go for a 4th. Yes. The oil's getting quite fragrant as well. And then the anchovies, really important. Get yourself some good anchovies from a good brand in oil. I want to get it in there. So just pull them in, and these anchovies are so incredibly good. Now you won't taste that, you've got to trust me. Right? Even though that's quite brave, the anchovies will melt. Now, let's see how we're doing over here. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. Straight in there. In that pan is really proper flavour going on. At this point, if I wanted to do it for a vegetable, that would be ready now, brilliant. But what I want to do is forget that. I want to cook it down. I want to cook it on a medium-high heat with a lid on. Now, to make this white sauce, you know, when I was at college, or, you know, when you go to Italy, they make bechamels. To be honest, at home, creme fraiche is a really good, quick cheat. So what I do is get some Parmesan, grate, you know, fair old wadge of Parmesan into the creme fraiche. But your job is to make it really cheesy, undoubtedly, you know. It's got to be equivalent to if you were doing a normal bechamel in a lasagna. So, then a good pinch of pepper, and then mix it in and have a little taste up. Get that cheese in there. So mix it up. A little taste. Delicious. Right, so that's good. You can see that's quite cooked down now. You could let this cool down, but I'm just going to put it on a tray so I can cool it down quicker. And just smear it out like that. So we put that here. And I've got my creme fraiche and I've got my tomato passata here. So what I want to do is just tweak it slightly. Put a bit of salt in there and a little swig of red wine vinegar. And that will just give it a little bit of a twang, a hit, and then just pour about half a centimetre of the tomato sauce in the bottom. Not quite all of this, okay? So that's kind of your base. That'll be the thing fueling the moisture that cooks the pasta, because the pasta is just dried cannelloni like that. So what I want to do is I want to get my lovely filling. Just want to go for it. I'm just going to gather it up like this, and then just pick the filling up and then turn it inside out, or you can just put it in the bag any old way, it doesn't matter. So this little teat here, we're going to chop off. Get rid of that, and then get your cannelloni, and you just squeeze your filling into that. There's one, so it's nicely filled up. I can't think of an easier way to do it unless you've got an official piping bag, and I'm a chef and I haven't got one. You can do it with a teaspoon if you want, it'll just take blimmin' ages. If you gave this to any meat eater, there's no way they'd miss their meat. This is not a vegetarian version of a cannelloni. This is a cannelloni of fantastic broccoli and cauliflower, and it is its own thing. Right, so I've filled up all of these. Lay nice big leaves of basil on top here. That'll work really well with the tomato sauce, but just quite nice to have that as a little touch. And then move it like that. Just like that, fill in the gaps. A little bit of black pepper. And then finish with a whole load of Parmesan. Now, what you can do at this stage is put some tiny knobs of mozzarella on top. Now, you don't have to do the mozzarella, but I just think it's such a wonderful thing to put on any kind of baked pasta of any description, really, because it's so beautifully stringy and gorgeous. That much is more than enough. You want the top of a cannelloni to be really golden and bubbly, and when you put the spoon in and pull it out, you want it to be stringy and gorgeous and lovely. And I'm going to put that into an oven for about half an hour, at about 190, or until this thing is boiling like you wouldn't believe and golden and crisp on top. And we know the filling's sort of cooked, so really we just want to cook the pasta and make the top really beautiful and golden. There we go. Beautiful. So here we go. Ah, look at that. Beautiful. So fantastic. You've got a nice golden layer on there. It's still quite nice and moist. And all I'm going to do now is plate it up. All right, let's have a look at these little darlings. Go on, son. And then to finish it off, some good olive oil with some rocket and a good squeeze of lemon. 2 or 3 beautiful tubes of cannelloni. If anyone cooked that for me, I'll be well chuffed. And you know who I want to give this to? Brian, because he spent so much time eating the roots. I'm going to give him the nice flowers now. I've got a pasta feast with 2 beautiful salads, that you're going to learn how to do in way under half an hour. Orecchietti with purple sprouting broccoli and normal broccoli. Then we've got 2 salads. The first one is a beautiful courgette salad with chilli and mint. Then we've got one of the good old classics, prosciutto and melon, a brilliant combination. First things first, I'm going to do the pasta and the pasta sauce. I want to grate some Parmesan. So what I'm going to do is take that rind off there. Actually, I'm going to show you what to do with that in a minute. I've got this Parmesan here. I've got my food processor and a fine grater here. And I'm just going to, literally, it takes 5 seconds. And look how lovely that is. I'm going to change the blade from the grater to the sort of general processor blade. And I'm going to use that to make the sauce. Now, the sauce here is made out of this classic broccoli. Then we've got the sprouting broccoli here. Beautiful. I'm just literally going to take the bare ends off of the purple sprouting broccoli. These are the woodier ends, and these are quite soft and tender. So I'm going to put these to one side. And then with this sort of classic broccoli, all I'm going to do is use the tip of my knife and just take the little sort of flowers off like that. You know, most people would throw that away. I'm going to create incredible flavour with this. These will go in a colander, in the pasta water at the last minute. These lovely green ones here, these will go in at the last minute as well. And then I'm just going to put the broccoli stalks in here. We want that heat there, so I'm going to crumble up 1 or 2 dried chilies into here. A couple of cloves of garlic. I'm going to use my little garlic crusher. Nice pinch of salt and pepper, just for some basic seasoning. And then anchovies. I'm going to pour the oil from the tin in with about 4, 5 anchovy fillets. I'm going to wazz it up. Let's get my boiling water, turn on the gas stove. We've got the base of the sauce done here. Get that on full whack. Olive oil in a pan, and just put that lovely mix. What I want to do with that sauce now is put some water in it. So I'm just going to put a splash in there, literally a wine glass. So let me explain what's happening in that pan. For the next 3 to 4 minutes, I don't have to worry about it because the water's in here. It's going to soften up, it'll be cooked, and then it will start frying again, and then we'll finish the pasta. So another thing, that rind, you know, in Italy, they don't throw this away. It's not particularly edible, but it is salty, and it is a wonderful quality piece of cheese. So they just plop it in the sauce like that, and it basically seasons the dish. And then I want to use 4 or 5 sprigs of that lovely thyme. So let's get the pasta in. This pasta takes about 12 to 14 minutes to cook. So everything's working there. Now I can get on with the salad. Get yourself a nice platter. I'm going to get about 4 sprigs of mint here. Just take the leaves off. And then what I'm going to do is sort of just gather it up and then just slice it up. So once I've gone through it like that, I'm going to just sort of straighten the plate, OK? And mint, one of its very true best friends, is chilli. I'm just going to remove the stalk like that, split it in half, run the knife down the length. Don't rush. You can use the tip of your knife just to scrape the seeds out. Just finely chop the chilli, just like you did the mint. I'm just going to add this chilli. So we're going to season it, a little salt and pepper, and also a little lemon zest. Get one of these fine graters or a little fine box graters. Get yourself a washed lemon and then just zest. And the smell is incredible. Some good olive oil. I've got my lemon juice here. That should be lovely. OK. So that's that. I want to show you a couple of things just to kind of get you going a bit. Courgettes. We've got yellow courgette here. I've got the traditional courgette, as you probably well know them, and these little baby ones. These little, beautiful baby courgettes, if you eat them, they've got a crunch to them. They're an absolute pleasure, you know, to eat with. If you put it with some of that dressing, it's amazing. So I'm going to use our lovely little speed peeler here, and I'm going to just shave baby courgettes into our dressing like that. Then we've got the yellow ones. These are much easier to grate. You get these beautiful ribbons. This is our traditional courgette here. Again, you can really speedily go through this. So just rattle through that. And then basically, this salad is pretty much there. Look at these beautiful ribbons here. I won't dress those yet. What I've got here is some bocconcini. They're beautiful little things. They're so soft and silky. So look, I've got the beautiful crunchy zucchini salad, the dressing and the bocconcini. I'm going to finish it at the last minute so the dressing is as best as it can be. The pasta is just over half cooked, and then I'm going to put these sprouting broccoli and the regular broccoli into the water. So, lid back on. Now I want to make a refreshing prosciutto, melon and basil salad. Get yourself some melons first. I've got Migalia here and my cantaloupe here. I'm just going to cut it in half to show you the different colours that you get, OK? So you've got that lovely kind of rosy orange colour there and the fresh green. There's no right or wrong. Get a spoon. That's going to be the best friend in this little salad. Get the seeds out first just by twiddling, you know, and pushing out the seeds. Get yourself a nice platter that you're proud to serve on. Get your spoon and just stuff it into that melon just like that and pull out these little delicate pieces of melon. And you'll get about 5 or 6 out of each half. So there you go. And then the other one. That's why I like the different colours as well. You don't have to do this, but, you know, it's nice to make it beautiful. You don't have to scrape out every last bit of the melon, because what you can do is just squeeze it like that. OK, so to make this beautiful, the prosciutto, when you lay it down, just sort of don't kind of try and organise it. Just let almost gravity, you know, the least work you can do, the better. Just pull it around so you can see everything nicely. And then I'm going to dress it, and that's what's going to give it the edge. So to dress it, what I want to do is get a pestle and mortar, and it takes literally seconds. Just pick off 12 little basil leaves, just like that, with a nice pinch of salt to make it abrasive. Pound it up to a mush. And then I'm just going to, in there, I'm going to add a little olive oil. It's hard to see the incredible colours at the moment, but you'll see them in a minute. And just a little bit of that lemon juice from earlier. And then I'm just going to put that over this beautiful salad, over some of the bits of prosciutto here as well. And that is what's going to take it to another dimension. That tiny little bit of effort is going to make that classic old salad absolutely be stomping. I purposefully pick these smaller basil leaves, and then from a height, just sort of position and click them around. And then a little kind of scrappy drizzle of olive oil on top, and then just that little bit of balsamic vinegar just makes it work. That is a beautiful thing. I love it. So I'm going to put that at the table now. So the first thing done, let's just get a mug or a jug or something and just nick yourself a load of that starchy, hot cooking water. We're going to turn the gas off. Let's get our pasta. Let's drain it. If you look in this pan right now, it looks ugly, OK? I'm going to put in some cooking water, and immediately it will change colour and go more creamy looking. So I can turn the heat off now. We can go in with this pasta. We go in with some cooking water and a nice handful of that Parmesan that you can just break up in your hand and just mix it up. But basically, that's the 30-minute meal done. If it is dry, add more water. Get yourself a nice big platter. When you do pasta, it's not a fluke. It might be humble and cheap, but you've got to have it silky and smooth and seasoned. And if you get those things happening, the flavours will pop. When you do grate your Parmesan over, it will be absolutely beautiful. Tiny bit of pepper, a little bit of olive oil. Also, if you want to put some lovely flowering, you know, thyme and stuff on there, just to remind people what the flavours are, you can. That can go to the table. This salad, now, all you've got to do now, it's been sitting there waiting to be done. Just use your fairy fingers and just sort of twinkle your fingers and make it scruffy on purpose. Give your food attitude. And then you've got these lovely balls of mozzarella. And, of course, there's nothing stopping you taking a few mint leaves just to dress it up. And there you go. 2 fragrant salads, a beautiful mum and pup's pasta, all in under half an hour. Brilliant. 1, 2, yours running, time code?
Yep.
So, the recipe I'm going to show you today is something that we love in our family. We're going to make homemade pasta with a delicious sauce. It's bigging up tin tuna and broccoli, one of the country's most popular vegetables. Very delicious, very nutritious. I'm not going to lie, it's the end of our shopping week again, and this broccoli has definitely seen better times, for sure. But I will take this slightly frumpy looking vegetable and we'll make it into a beautiful sauce. Now we're also going to make homemade pasta. You could do it with regular pasta dried, but I'm going to show you how to make homemade pasta. Okay, let's start the story off. I'm using a high-sided roasting tray today just so you guys can see what's going on in here. Use a casserole pan, okay? We're going to go in with some olive oil. We'll start off with some garlic. I think we want about 5 garlic cloves, give or take. I'm going to make enough sauce for 7 of us, and I might even have extra. So we're going to go in with the garlic. Then we're going to go in with dried chilies, just a little pinch. Now, as you've probably heard me say before, Jules doesn't eat onions, so I use leeks quite a lot, but you could use spring onions, you could use shallots, no trouble at all. Roughly slice those up. So in with the leeks. So a little pinch of salt. So just move these around and soften them up. We don't want any colour. Now, the reason that this pasta sauce is amazing and perfect for right now is because it's a very flexible sauce. You could use asparagus, courgettes, cauliflower, and you're going to turn it into like the most incredible, intense sauce that's going to stick to your pasta. But the flavour is going to be like a slap round the face. It's going to be amazing. So as these start to soften, you can see these are softening now, right? What I want to do is add the next ingredient, which is tin tuna from our pantry. And actually, right now, for a lot of people, cupboard stores, I'm talking about tins, jars, all of that business, is really, really important. It works with tuna. I might use anchovies. I might use mackerel, all tinned, right? It works with all of them and it's delicious. Now, this is 190 grams. This will be enough for the 7 of us. I'll put everything in the tin in here. Also, don't go thinking that tin tuna is a sad thing. It really isn't, and it shouldn't be thought of as that. So my lovely camera assistant is now stirring, and I'm going to start slicing up the broccoli, and then I'll start adding it. How are you, Jules? Halfway through the week?
I think we're getting used to it, aren't we?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because we're all starting to get to know our kids. Like the teachers get our kids for like 8 hours of the day, and we think we know our kids, but of course, you know, only at the top and tail of the day. By the way, we can use the broccoli stalks. Do not throw those in the bin. These are going to be amazing. So in with the broccoli. And by the way, I'm wearing the shirt from The Naked Chef. Come on.
I actually can't close the buttons.
No, I can't close the buttons, but you know, maybe one day. Maybe if we run out of food. So look, back to the pasta sauce. It's been cooking for like 5 minutes. I'm going to use the same tin, and I'm going to put it in with water now, and I'll just give that a stir every now and again. Now, Buds, Petal, let's make some pasta and have some fun.
Do you want to join Daddy make pasta? And like, Buzz, will you just hold the phone?
So while Mummy dresses River, Buddy, you take over the close-ups. Darling girl,
Yeah.
can you get me the flour behind me? So we are going to make homemade pasta. Generally speaking, 100 grams of flour per person, right? So whether you're one person on your own or a big family, or you want to do a batch of pasta, a typical pasta flour will be a Durham wheat flour, and you might see it labelled as pasta flour in the supermarkets, right? You can use plain flour, and this is actually strong white flour. So you can bend what the norm is. So I've used 3 cups of flour. I'm now going to use 1 cup of hot water. It's not boiling water, but it was boiling about 5-10 minutes ago. And that's going to go into here. Now, hot water changes everything. By using hot water, you're just starting to evolve the protein in the flour. So you're sort of semi-cooking it, which gives you like a more pliable pasta. So I'm going to use a fork here to bring in the flour bit by bit. This is a really nice thing to do with your family. Actually, you do it. Just go around the edge. Yeah, go around the edges,
okay.
slowly taking in more flour, right? And it will get thicker and thicker and thicker. When you make pasta, it's like opening a door to a world that is infinite in opportunity. And also, people love pasta. Do you love pasta? Mm-hmm. Do you love pasta?
Yeah.
I haven't met any kids that don't like pasta. So look, as this kind of gets thicker, see how this is almost like a batter now? We can start to get a bit more rough with it because the water's not going to spill out. I do not want to get my hand sticky, so that's why I'm kind of doing this. And then as it gets hard to use with the fork, then I might think about using my hand. It's not yet. Petal, can you stir that pasta sauce for me, darling? So look, I'm using my hands now. Can you see what's happened to this dough now? The dough now is sort of starting to look a little bit more like bread dough. I can hear River coming back. You bathed him in that time.
Bath, brush teeth. We're ready to make Play-Doh, as he calls it.
So what we want to do is just keep moving it until all this flour has gone. So by kind of moving it around, you expose more of the wet side, and then that sort of picks up the flour that's on here.
It's so soft, this pan of flour. Pasta.
That's it. So keep making it. What we'll do, how about this? How about we have 3 balls each?
Yeah.
And then you all work on a ball, and then we do one big ball at the end.
big ball.
So, just work it until you've really picked up all the flour. If it's a little bit sticky, add a little bit more flour. You basically want it to be a little bit like Play-Doh when you were a kid.
Dad, it's a little bit sticky, mine.
This is really sticky.
Nice. Well, let's just keep. If I move it like this, it will become not sticky. See? Look, it picks up all that flour.
Thank you.
I'm trying to get a word in edgeways. What you'll end up with is a really pliable, elastic,
Good buds.
malleable dough that's ready to be shaped in any way.
Okay,
Honestly,
River, how do
try
you feel
it.
about
You'll
this?
love it.
Riv, what do you reckon?
Good.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to put all the balls together and we're going to make one giant ball. So when you make a dough and you stretch and move it around, what you're doing is tightening and lengthening the gluten like this and making it elastic. Can you see how it's still moving? So when I stop moving it, see it retract. What we need to do now is let it just sit for about half an hour, right, to relax, because this is quite tight now. If you go and get me that little package behind me in a tea towel. So I've made some dough earlier.
Dad, now gonna fork.
Yeah, fork it for the love of God. Fork it. So I wrap this in a damp cloth covered in greaseproof paper, right? And it's exactly the same quantity. So what I'll do now is take this dough, this poor dough that's been forked to death, and I'll wrap it up and I'll relax this for half an hour.
Oh.
So put that behind us, gorgeous girl.
Yeah.
So now you can see this dough is now much more bendy. So I'm going to roll this into a sausage, which will make River so excited because he loves a sausage, don't you, River?
Yeah, I love sausages.
Okay, so you get one bit, she gets one bit, I get one bit. I'm going to show you what to do. So the one I want to do is called cavatelli.
Cavatelli.
So what we do is you take a small piece, the size of a tiny marble, you roll it in your hands, and naturally you'll get something that has a fat middle and like a kind of thinner end, about the size of 3 fingers. Put it down, then just stick your fingers in, push right down, and drag towards you, and then peel them off your finger, and what you get is the most beautiful pasta that has fat bits, thin bits, and a cup that will hold on to sauce.
Interesting.
So that won't work because it's just too much dough. It will sit on your tummy like a bomb, right? What you need to do is use those fingers to really squeeze and make it quite thin and delicate, right? As time goes on, you'll get better and better. Yeah, that's brilliant, buds. A bit more weight. So right into it. So push.
Dad, I got my big one.
Lovely.
River's doing brilliantly.
That will definitely work. These are really good, buds. Petal. That's like a perfect one. So, it does take a bit of time and a bit of practice. If one comes out and it's not quite right, so if we go back to one of the earlier ones and like, oh, that's a little bit too thick, right? Then I can go back to it and I can just fix it. Easy peasy. Now, what we will do now is you can let it dry. Now, if you let it dry in the sun or let it dry for a couple of days, once it's like rock solid dry, you can jar it up, just put a few rice grains in the bottom just to absorb any moisture, and that will stay dry for months and months, ready to be used. Absolutely.
So you could just do
Preserved.
this for a rainy day and then just leave it.
Yeah, there you go. homemade pasta, and a broccoli sauce that you're going to love.
I kind of failed on that one.
Yeah, you can never fail. That's perfect. That's not fail. No, you got it. With that pasta sauce, we've simmered that for about 30-40 minutes, adding a little bit of water when we need to. Now we're going to balance it with cheese. I use Parmesan cheese, a nice big handful. You could use cheddar cheese if you want. And then I use a secret ingredient, which is lemon juice. A squeeze of lemon juice just works so well with the cheese. It's so, so good. And then we mash it with a potato masher. That makes a really rustic, delicious sauce. And then that is perfect with that steamy, bouncy, gorgeous fresh pasta. So we have the pasta and we have the sauce. Now we just got to cook it. Yeah. That goes in. We'll boil those for about 4 or 5 minutes. And when they float, they'll be ready to go. Sorry about the noise of the kids, that's life. Okay, so time to serve it up now. Then just mix the sauce up. You can see how the pasta shape grabs onto all that lovely sauce. And there you go. Beautiful homemade pasta with a broccoli, tuna and Parmesan sauce. Yum.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's so nice.
Give us your plate, Sweepy.
Do you like the sauce, Petal?
It kind of tastes like gnocchi, but not gnocchi.
What do you reckon, Buds? You've had thirds.
Amazing. Best one yet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any other comments from the gang?
It's so nice.
There you go, guys. Go on, have a go. This one is a cracker. This is my crispy chicken and broccoli noodles. So good, so fast, you're gonna love it. So I've got a big pan, fry pan, non-stick, on a high heat. To get that going, I'm gonna use some sesame seeds. Really, really tasty. They look amazing, they taste great, and beautiful, heart-healthy fats. So really, really nice. About 2 tablespoons goes in, give them a little shake, and let's just toast it up. So that's the first bit. Second one, check this out. These are beautiful rice noodles. Just a kettle of water over the top. In about 3 or 4 minutes, these will be cooked, ready and raring to go. We've got some lovely chicken breasts. And then we've got beautiful little broccolini here, which is fantastic. You can eat the whole thing. So it's almost like asparagus, really. So sweet and so delicious. You know, we've got 220 grams of this, so you get a nice big portion of one of your 5 fruit and veg a day. In the pan here, you can see that little bit of heat is changing the color of the sesame seeds. So as soon as that's toasted, shake it to one side of your pan and just put it onto a little dish. So first job is your chicken. So I'll get a second board and I'll slice up my chicken with another knife, about 1.5 centimeters in size. By doing this, it's gonna cook really quickly. So we can give it a little seasoning of salt and pepper. And then the hero ingredient is 5 spice. And I'm gonna shake about 2 teaspoons of 5 spice on the chicken. So just by adding the seasoning and the 5 spice, you've guaranteed incredible flavor and amazing crispiness on the outside. So we'll go straight to the pan, which has got nothing in it at the moment. So just get a pair of tongs or a spoon, move the chickens around. We've got no oil here yet. Just a tablespoon of oil goes in. Now it starts to fry. So that spice from the chicken will start to get golden and gnarly. Now what this needs now is a little bit of funk, right? So garlic is always a loyal friend, and we'll just sprinkle those in. Wow, it smells amazing. Now, the hero ingredient really for me is this broccolini. So what I like to do is just use the tip of the knife to trim off the beautiful little flowers. And what that allows us to do is show off just how beautiful they are and cook them in a fraction. On the other side, we got these stalks, which again are very tender, but what I want to do is just slice these about 1/2 centimetre thick at a slight angle if you can. So now we've got colour on this chicken. Have a little look in this pan. Can you see? The chicken is crispy, it's golden, it's sizzling. Then we can go in with the stems, which really only need a minute. So this dish is a minute away, pretty much all ready. I'm going to drain my noodles. Get rid of that excess water, and then just put it in a bowl over there. They'll remain absolutely beautiful and they'll drain off nicely. So look, noodles are done, chicken and the stems are looking beautiful. I want to show you the quickest sauce ever. 1 or 2 teaspoons of chili jam, so you get heat and you get sweetness. Then we're going to go in with 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar or rice wine vinegar, take your pick. Then we're going to go in with 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, so that's your basic seasoning going in there like that. and then 1 teaspoon or 2 of sesame oil. So the chicken is now cooked, but juicy. The actual broccoli leaves, the flowers, they're gonna go in now, just for literally 40 seconds. So again, try and work on your tossing action. Like, look at it, just beautiful. So we'll serve it up now. It's that easy. You can take your nice hot steaming noodles, really beautiful, texturally really nice to slurp on. So in with the sauce we go, and it's gonna sizzle, right? But look at that. Oh, so good. So I'm doing that off the heat, and then I can drag the chicken and the broccoli and those juices. Look at the juices, yes. So a last little embellish of the sesame seeds. And go chopsticks, mix it all up, or knife and fork, whichever way you like it. So there you go, lovely people. Look at that, so good, so quick. It's perfect for busy people that like big flavors. So get your noodles, get your chicken. What's really lovely about this is you kind of have those flavors that you want, the heat, the soy, the garlic, the sesame, but it's fresh. So good, so tasty, so quick. Come on, have a cook up.